So this is a conversation that I've been having with people for a long time, probably as long as we've had the channel. It's the comment I see the most. It's probably one of the biggest issues I see with people not only eating this way, but being able to maintain it and keep eating this way. And that is living with people who don't necessarily prescribe to the same concept of health that you do. I think that's the most political way I can put it without being cruel to people. I just don't want to be mean. I don't want to judge people or yuck anyone's yum, even though promoting a certain way of eating just kind of does that without intending it to. Also, I'm out at the park with the dogs, so there's might be a bit stoppy and starty. I'm just letting Velma explore a little bit. And if another dog comes along, we might need to interrupt this conversation. I like to call this kind of walk a walk and sniff, which is good for dogs' brains. It says that like 20 minutes of sniffing is equivalent to like the same amount of running around for their brains. Anyway, this is a tangent. That's not what we came to talk about. The conversation is essentially my loved ones, my husband, usually, although not always. My children don't want to eat the way I eat, and I'm sick of making multiple meals. It's frustrating. I've seen some people that just get downright upset about it with their partners and whatnot, and asking, what do you do about that? I've been working with a group of people, with another person, and I'm going to talk about this project a lot more going forward, but this has come up a lot, and the metaphor that I came up with that I think is the most helpful is if you've ever flown on an airplane and the oxygen masks come down, the first thing they tell you to do is what? You know the answer. They tell you to put your own mask on first before you put someone else's mask on. I think that is the right way to think about diet and health as well. And I know it can be selfish, especially for those of you that are parents or spouses, and maybe you work from home and the other person is the quote unquote breadwinner who brings home the money and they work all day and they don't have time to cook. I totally get that. But I also think that if you're the kind of person who is shifting over to eating the way that we eat, whole food, plant-based, because of health or any other reason, even because you just want to, then you have got to put your needs first, especially if it's a health condition or reasons why you're eating this way, is because, it didn't happen by accident. You need this for fill in the blank reason. And if the person that you're with isn't understanding of that or supporting of that, that's a different conversation you need to have with them. But you need to just do what you need to do to get healthy, to feel good about what you're doing, and worry about them second. And, the truth is as well, is that I like to think of the phrase, live well by example. If you just start making healthy, delicious meals that don't feel like homework, that don't feel like a punishment, they're gonna probably climb onto that as well. I know, one person in particular wrote us recently that says they're concerned that if they stop making meals for their husband and cooking meat, which they hate cooking, that their husband's just gonna eat fast food every day. I doubt that'll be the case. I hope that won't be the case. I think eventually they're gonna get tired of doing that. They're gonna feel awful doing that, and they'll just accept what you're putting on the table. Again, I don't know that for sure. I don't know everyone's specific situation, so I don't wanna say that that's gonna happen for sure. But I also think that if that's your situation, at some point you have got to have that awkward conversation around your core philosophies when it comes to health and eating, which is a pretty big part of your life. And if you and your partner are not on the same page and they're saying emphatically that they don't plan on making any changes, I don't know. For me, I don't want to say that would be a deal breaker, but it would definitely make me think if this is the kind of person that I'm going to be able to spend the rest of my life with and maintain my health. Because chances are, even though they don't intend to, they're going to become some kind of an enabler for you. They're going to be that person that says it's okay to, relax on this and relax on that and abandon whatever core principles you've come up with for your way of eating. That's a choice you've got to make for yourself. I'd love to know people's thoughts in the comments down below, how you deal with this, if you live in a family of people who eat differently and don't eat the way you eat, even though you eat whole food plant-based, and how you navigate it. Because in our house, Emily and I, Wooly, for those of you that know her from our regular videos, we primarily eat whole food plant-based. We're not always perfect when we go out, but when we're at home, we do our best to maintain that. The kids are, for lack of a better term, pescatarian. And they're also teenagers, so they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But we're all kind of respectful and understanding of each other. And if the kids want something that is outside of the way that we eat, they have to make it themselves, especially at this age as teenagers. I think this comes down to, too, is a lot of people see themselves as the caretaker or the caregiver in their family, and it makes them feel like they're being a bad partner or spouse when they tell them that they have to cook for themselves or they have to fend for themselves. I just think that it comes down to your core philosophies. Velma, are you digging up the entire park? Velma, come. Where's your ball? Get your ball. Sorry, I just had to stop Velma from destroying public property. Velma! This is hard. I feel bad having this conversation. I'm not trying to tell people to break up with their spouses or to tell their kids to cook for themselves. I just think you have to lead by example. You can't force people to eat this way either. You know what I mean? Like, they're eventually going to be resentful of you. You're going to be resentful of them if they don't let you live your truth, for lack of a better term. I don't have all the answers around this, because I think it also really comes down to your specific case and your life and what you need for your health and your relationship with your partner. But I just think the best relationships between people are built on a foundation of mutual respect and communication. And you don't always have to agree with each other, but I think you have to understand what the other person needs. And I think there's a lot of couples that just grow apart because they don't have those two core things. So I think that's really the core issue of this, is if your partner and your family aren't willing to respect your choices around food, I think it's because there's a lack of respect in general, which needs to be addressed. And that is a hard thing for me to say, and that's probably a hard thing for you to hear, if that's the situation you're in. I hope this was helpful. This was a little bit of tough love, I guess, for some people. But let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm way off base, if you've got any advice to offer in addition to this, if you have any follow-up questions for this that you want me to tackle or anyone else to answer. Yeah, this was my Monday musing. Maybe that's what we'll call this series of videos. If you liked it and you aren't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Obviously hit like so YouTube knows to share it with other people. And right up here in the corner, which I can't point to because my hands are full, YouTube has another video all ready for you that they think you're going to enjoy, while I try to get Velma to stop digging. Velma? Velma! Hey! What are you doing? Where's your ball? Let's go home. Get your ball. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna steal your ball. I'm gonna steal your ball.